Welcome to Deep Dive. I am Evelyn Hartwell.
And I'm Margaret Ellis. Today, we are looking back at a date that fundamentally altered the political landscape of Europe and celebrating some of the most resonant voices in modern culture.
On this day in 1793, the former King of France, Louis XVI, was publicly executed at the Place de la Révolution. It was a moment that signaled the definitive end of 1,000 years of French monarchy. Margaret, the trial itself was such a high-stakes moment for the young republic.
It was indeed, Evelyn. The National Convention had convicted him of high treason in a near ununanimous vote. While many deputies were divided on the actual sentence, they ultimately condemned him to death by a very slim majority. On that cold January morning, the High Executioner Charles Henry Sanson, who had ironically served as the royal executioner under Louis, performed the deed with the guillotine.
It is chilling to think about that transition from subject to judge. The rhetoric used at the time, specifically by Maximilien Robespierre, was incredibly powerful. He argued that the king had to die so that the nation could live, framing it not as a judicial trial, but as a necessity for public safety and the survival of the revolution.
Exactly. While some saw it as the true beginning of democracy, others, even reformers, were horrified by what they perceived as a descent into amoral chaos. That tension would define the next several years, especially with Marie Antoinette meeting the same fate just 9 months later. It was a turning point that left no room for compromise.
While we are discussing powerful legacies, we also have several significant birthdays today. One of the most recognizable figures of the 20th century was born on this day in 1922, Telly Savalas, whom the world knew as Telly.
Telly Savalas was much more than just the lollipop-sucking Lieutenant Kojak. Before his acting career, he was a decorated World War II veteran, earning a Purple Heart, and he actually worked as a beach lifeguard after high school. He once shared that a failed rescue attempt deeply affected him, leading him to promote water safety for the rest of his life.
That groundedness really came through in his performances. He had that deep, resonant voice and such a presence. Beyond Kojak and his famous catchphrase, "Who loves ya, baby?" he was an Academy Award nominee for Birdman of Alcatraz and even played the Bond villain Blofeld. He was a man of many layers, including a bachelor's degree in psychology from Columbia.
He truly was a powerhouse. And speaking of incredible voices, we also celebrate the birthday of Plácido Domingo, born in 1941. Evelyn, his impact on the world of opera is nearly impossible to overstate.
Right. As part of the Three Tenors, he helped bring opera into the mainstream in a way we hadn't seen before. But his longevity is what strikes me. He transitioned into baritone roles later in his career and has been a prolific conductor and administrator. He is a testament to the discipline of the arts.
And completing our birthday trio is Geena Davis, born in 1956. Most people know her from classics like Thelma and Louise or her Oscar-winning turn in The Accidental Tourist. But I particularly admire her work off-screen with the Geena Davis Institute on Gender in Media.
Her institute has done fascinating work using data to highlight the lack of female representation in family entertainment. She's used her platform to move the needle on how women are portrayed in the stories we tell our children. It's a very modern kind of leadership, Margaret.
Well, we've touched on some very serious history and massive careers. There's also a lighter, though no less meaningful tradition to acknowledge today. It's National Hugging Day.
Wait, what? That was launched back in 1986 by Kevin Zaborney? He realized that the period between the winter holidays and Valentine's Day could be emotionally draining for people.
He wanted to encourage consensual displays of affection to boost morale.
It is such a simple idea, but it speaks to a universal need for connection. In a world that often feels fractured, as we saw with the upheaval of the French Revolution, those small moments of human warmth are vital for our social resilience.
It's a good reminder to reach out to those around us, whether it's through the grand shifts of history or a simple gesture of kindness. January 21st seems to be a day about the impact individuals have on the world.
A day of revolution, artistic excellence, and human connection. Thank you for joining us for this look at the archives.
I'm Evelyn Hartwell.
And I'm Margaret Ellis. For more stories, visit neuralnewscast.com. Deep Dive is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. Explore history every day on Neural Newscast.